Okay. Let me ask if anybody has any questions or comments or anything that they want to share.
Question.
Okay, 1 and 2.
What would you call, like, Prezi? What type of presentation would that be? What would that fit under?
It would fit under PowerPoint type presentation.
You want, it's interactive?
Not really interactive. I mean, it just scrolls and rolls, and I've seen a couple of good ones, but most of the ones I've seen have not been good, in my opinion. I mean, it's just my opinion, but I think people misuse it.
Get you dizzy.
Sorry, it gets you dizzy if you're diabetic or something.
Yeah.
But in general, Prezi is a good tool if used well. But again, it's like a PowerPoint. But basically, it's
Yeah,
so
because we saw one Friday that at the end of, after the guy was done presenting, I was like, he really likes circles.
yeah. This is a program called Prezi. I don't know if any of you have heard of this. Prezi. It's kind of it's a strange way of making a presentation. It's like you're kind of going on a map, and you stop at one spot, and then you kind of go around, stop at another spot. Have you seen that, Prezi? For me, I personally do not like it. But I understand from my students at Maryland, their students enjoy using it. They like it. So you always want to do what the audience, figures is most effective. And if that is effective in reaching those students, then okay, I would use it. I wouldn't like it, but I would do it. Okay, sorry, I don't want to tell you any more than you wanted to know. But.
No, just ask.
And who else had that?
Oh, me.
Yeah. Wendy.
Actually, I have to say that we had training today, and this woman, she was a wonderful presenter. Her PowerPoint was horrible. Like, I was looking at the PowerPoint, and I'm like, those bullets don't match. She's got, like, different types combined. Like, and I seriously wanted to go up to her and go, can I help you with your PowerPoint?
Isn't it annoying?
She's got things dangling on the end, like on the next line. I'm thinking, no, you're doing this wrong. And I think the most annoying thing was she took a PowerPoint that was a half-a-day training and smushed it into 2 hours. But she didn't redo the PowerPoint. She just jumped through the slides. And then she gave us a handout, and her handout doesn't really match the numbers on the slides. So I'm just sitting there going, I can't make a comment. I can't make a comment. I can't make a comment. But it was so funny.
That is funny. That is funny. Thanks for sharing that. I hope no one ever sees anything like that again. Please. And any other things that people want to share? Oh, do you want to share with the class what happened?
Oh,
here?
sure. I don't know if you guys remember the grants that he was telling us about. I actually applied for one to go to Chicago to a conference about educational leadership, and I was awarded. So first,
that was fast.
Yeah, it was.
What?
Yeah,
I told you guys to do it.
You have to apply like 2 weeks before their meeting, and at the meeting they decide whether or not you get it based on the evidence you provide, which is like copies of the registration fees and the actual conference and what it's about. And everyone that applied for one, I was looking at the minutes from the meeting. Everyone got it.
Wow.
And it wasn't, and I was surprised. It was like about 8 people that did it, and they all got it. So you guys should do it.
That's
I keep telling you. And we had a student in about the year 2000 who was on the graduate student committee. He worked for us, and he said, you ought to have students apply for this because the only people that use the money are the people on the committee because no one knows about it. So then, since then, I'm in that 512 class, when I have people apply for grants, that's always one that I emphasize. Do they have it in the spring as well? I think they have one in the spring as well where you guys can apply.
You can apply year round. It just has to be before their meeting. You just have to bring it to apply 2 weeks before the meeting to the graduate student study office.
So all you got to do is just check the Graduate Student Association. I put the link up there. And, next time, Nikita, you look at Hawaii, right? I mean, or Bali. It's even better. Though it's a 40-hour flight, you don't want to go. So that's something to consider as you continue on the grad program. take every opportunity for professional development that you can get. I mean, there's so many resources. It's like a banquet table. You just kind of reach. So don't let a no get to you, because you can always find some kind of funding or do something somewhere. Okay. Now next week there won't be a class. I'll be here on Tuesday for an earlier undergrad class. The assignment this week will be for 2 weeks, so you'll have a chance to work on these presentations and stuff, and get it finished. Do it leisurely, but do it well. So, question or comment about that?
You say you put the link up to those grants?
I sure did.
Which week?
I don't remember which week.
It's all the way at the top.
I thought, it's all the way at the top, it's not under a week even.
It's like,
Oh, right there. It's a Graduate Student Association. It's above the fold. But I've had students every year, anytime I tell some folks about this and they get serious, they get the grant. Arizona, California, full pay for the one in Philadelphia, all around. And it helps to find something that you're professionally interested in that would help you either in technology. You guys aren't in technology, so leadership, good. Doesn't matter. And well, you're in the program, so you might look for something that would kind of be involved with your day job, but something that would also fit into the program as well. Free money.
Yeah, and the application takes 5 minutes.
it does.
Oh, they have 5 minutes. I mean, that's a tough one. I don't know if I could handle that one. Let's see. The writing project, is anybody interested in that? You guys know about that? I mean, I put a thing up here. The Connecticut Writing Project is for people who are teachers. And basically, it teaches you, you don't have to be an English teacher for that. You just have to be someone who's interested in teaching, because they take you and they actually make you a writer. They make you be able to teach writing and use writing in the classroom. For me, in 1984, it was like the best single experience I've ever had in a classroom. I went for the summer, and it totally changed everything I do in the classroom since. Now, Glenn Mason was over there, and a couple of the other students actually did that last year. I told them about it, and they did so well that they just asked, Glenn, just ask him about it, because I discussed it in class. I nominated him, and you have to be nominated by someone. I nominated him, and he did really well, and it has kind of parlayed that into something greater. And you will become so good at helping people become writers and also using writing techniques. It used to be, I'm pretty sure it's still the same way, you get 6 graduate credits for free. They actually pay for the graduate credits. And you spend, I think, 4 weeks in the summer, maybe a couple of Saturdays during the semester. And it's very competitive. It's competitive. I mean, they have 20 slots, and usually they have more people apply. But I'm always willing to nominate people and help you try and get in. Especially, Glenn now. You just go over to Glenn. I don't know if you know Glenn. He's teaching over there. He's our TA. He graduated, so he's teaching some classes for us. He's kind of like that tall guy, tall and skinny, just over in the next room. And it's a fantastic opportunity. I tell you, you get 6 credits. It's not going to count toward this degree, but it may count for more money for at the school, just so you have more credits. But it's better than any of the single college courses you'll ever take. So anything you take in here, you may like them, but that writing project is as good as it gets.
Everybody I know that's gone through it has nothing but good things.
Well, yeah, you're at a school where people have done
Yes,
that.
the partner that I teach with, she's been involved with it for years. Dr. Valerie
Sure.
has a relationship with my school, and she's in charge of it. And it's wonderful.
So that's something to consider, you folks who are teachers. We'll nominate you, You're interested in doing that? Julio will be right up your alley. Right there. Everybody. It doesn't matter what language you teach. It doesn't matter what subject you teach. When I did it, they had people from every subject area. I was the only college guy. In those days, they didn't have college people do that, but I was the only college guy. So read that. Let me know if you're interested, and I will. I'll nominate you. And there's an interview process. You go through it, and they'll tell you what's going on there. But really, it'll mean a vector change in how you teach. Seriously. It's like the grants. It's an opportunity you don't want to miss, in my opinion. It's my opinion. Not a fact, but just opinion. Okay, did anybody have any questions or comments about anything that we covered? Anything in the homework, the class?
Could you actually go over that final presentation? Because I was sick last week and I feel like I missed.
You missed everything.
I know, I feel
Everything.
like I missed like so much, it's not even funny.
Everything.
So if you could kind of quickly go over it and, because I want to make sure I'm on the right track with what I'm doing, so.
Yeah, well, we're going to actually work on that tonight. And I'll give a quick summary. And then you guys are going to have a chance to actually get together and look at this. So let me go up here to the notebook activity. Now this is due at the end of the semester, so you've got like 3 or 4 weeks to go. And you'll have time over the Thanksgiving holiday. I'm going to give you an assignment for 2 weeks so that you can pace yourself and do these. And so where is it? Okay, so basically, I'm recording. If you looked up here and you don't even have your sign up.
No, I don't.
The girl in their class has a really nifty sign that's like, it says record, stop recording.
It's outstanding. I mean, it's the way to do it. I mean, you can tell she's in the ed tech program. Okay, just joking. Okay, so it's through the last class meeting, and you're going to be using the instructional design process to design 5 interactive lessons that you'll be teaching in front of a class, or else you can actually show a substitute teacher how to do this. So basically, you're going to put resources together, and you're going to make a lesson plan that's really going to be detailed as to what you're going to be doing. So, for example, remember I had the United States map up there?
Yeah.
Okay, well, if I was doing a lesson plan, I would say the first warm-up might be, depending on the grade level, we sing the state song or whatever, just to get people in the mood. Then we'd have the states up there, the map up there, and have students kind of match the states to the area. Then maybe have students come up and spell certain things, and then do some other activities. And I could actually stay on that screen for maybe 20, 25 minutes doing different activities. So I would write that as part of my lesson plan. 5, 10 minutes I would do this, and I'd be specific. And then I would say at 27 minutes, 25 minutes, I would move on to screen 2, where I would have another activity that would involve the states but be in a different way. So they would kind of work with it. So I can have an interactive lesson. I can design an interactive lesson with just 2 screens or 3 screens, depending on what it is you're designing. So the focus here is looking at the tools, the interactive tools that are available, and then using them in an instructive way. And once you can do this with a notebook, a smartboard, you can stand up in front of the class and use almost anything to teach and teach well, because it's a motivational tool. And once you learn the different ways that you can, present things, then it takes a lot of the pressure off, because you don't have to design materials that are already designed. You don't have to create media, because the media is there. You just have to look at the design process of how you're going to design your instruction and deliver it. Does that make sense? So here, looking at the sheet, then I'm just giving you an example here. This is an example of, actually a smartboard again, same thing. I went over that last week. And so the example was, there's a lack of instruction about the states. And I asked myself, what do I need for those kids? I need video, movies, books. Any of those things can actually help me address that need. I can find a movie about the states and let them watch that. But actually, that's not really good instruction. So I prioritize the thing I need the most would be interactive instruction with a smartboard notebook, because I know I could get the students interested. If I gave them a movie or a book, chances are several of them may not get interested. And by using the notebook, it allows them to become part of the group. See, even if you're sitting in the back and kids going up in the front, there's high interest. Okay, so the audience for that would be the students. The objectives would be whatever the objectives are for that lesson about the states. Content analysis would be I'm going to teach about the New England states, the capitals, other information about them, the largest, the smallest, perhaps, maybe the nicknames. So that would be my content analysis. Then my instructional strategies would be I could have progressive reveal. I could have interactive activities where they would move things and bring things. Another instructional strategy could be draw a line from one place to another. So you have like the state, and I have the names and have to draw the line to the right. That's an instructional strategy. Draw the line here, draw the line there. Another instructional strategy could be a quiz, or another one could be maybe a guessing game or concentration. Support materials are things, Catherine, I always want you to think about. Anytime you design something, you always want to have additional materials, support materials. So remember when I gave you the states tutorial? What I did was I did a screencast, as I said, then I took pictures, screen caps, and I put that into Word and I made a tutorial. And so whenever I teach that particular lesson, I not only go through a video or do it live, but then I have the support material developed. Anytime you're doing anything for any group, anytime, think about ways that you can help them remember through additional materials. A handout summary is good. Sometimes, like if I was going to be doing this to an older group, let's say I was teaching a group of United States, they're all old folks, but they don't speak very good English. They're in adult basic education. You know what that is? Like people who are older, who haven't gotten their GED yet. I teach a lesson like this. And I would have, after the lesson, I would have a summary with the points, main points, because they probably couldn't get all my English. So I know they're not going to get all my English, so I better write it out in a way that they will understand. For some kids, I might put more graphics on a handout. It's all dependent on your audience. For you guys, what I always try and do is teach. I always put the recordings up. That's my second. The instruction you have here is first. Secondary are the recordings. The third, sometimes I'll put up a separate tutorial. I'll put up other handouts for you to download. So I never make it so that everything is dependent. When you take the Flash class, if you have 12, it's the same thing. You do all the interactive stuff, and it's all available on video as well. So then the evaluation is, depending on what the lesson is, what the students can do or so on. And later on today, we're actually going to be talking about evaluation a bit in terms of creating rubrics. So we'll be doing that a little bit later. So for homework, does that answer your question? Ask me another question. Don't let me go.
No, it was actually, more of it was the homework. Because I found that when I was doing my lessons, when I was doing the paragraph, I actually just really cut and pasted, because I'm going to be doing the same thing. It's just a different, doing the senses, it's going to be the same thing really. It's just going to be different hearing versus sight versus smell versus taste versus feel.
Well, that's okay. I'd like you to differentiate amongst them, because there are different senses and there are different things about them.
Okay.
So as you're doing this is where you would say, I would do the ABC, or you'd have the A down for every one of them. You'd introduce them a certain way, or and then you would differentiate them depending on the audience. If the audience, here's something to consider. If your audience is younger, consider a story. There's something in there that gives you a sense of if it's an older group, people like you, or people who are same age. It's like, do you belong? Anybody? Just say what it is, Catherine, so that. Anybody can go there. Like people who
really?
are people who are afraid of being in the classroom, business people who have to give lectures or give talks and are afraid, so on and so forth. And what Toastmasters does, what I liked about it, especially, is what happens is you give a speech, and the speeches can't be any more than 5 minutes. And then you have people who are there to help you. They give you feedback. So there's a person who counts the ums and the ahs. Then there's a person who looks at the grammar. Other people give you feedback. It's all positive feedback. And what happens is you're amongst a group of people who want to improve their speaking, but at the same time, they're people that are usually unlike you. When I did it for a couple of years. There were people at business and welders, and there was people who ran their own companies, and an Air Force general was in there.
Wow.
And they would all give speeches. And when you go there, you don't have to give a speech. But what happens is they have several different courses that you can take. So, for example, you would get a beginning book. And the beginning book would have like 10 types of speeches you would give. First one would be an icebreaker. It's like 3 to 5 minutes. You just kind of tell about yourself. Second speech could be a fun speech. Third speech could be an entertaining speech. Fourth speech could be using media. And so you become a competent communicator, and you're able to actually tell stories and get people interested. And I think that's one of the best things that you can do, is be able to have that facility and also a backlog of stories and know how to deliver them. So basically it's like $50 a year for the club. There are clubs all over the world. And in Hartford, there's like about 20 clubs.
Wow.
And basically you can go and visit, sit down and listen to people. They'll ask you to introduce yourself. They'll ask you if you want to speak. You can say no, and say fine, just listen. And you'll see how it works. I was incredibly impressed, because I don't think I need to work on my speaking. I mean, I'm a teacher. I speak all the time, but it was fun to be able to go into those things, to learn to speak. And I think that helps as a teacher if you can bring things to the audience, like stories or anecdotes, or point out interesting things. And adults like that. Adults don't like sit there and be lectured to. They want to hear it. They want to be entertained in a way. So that's something to consider for that type of audience is the point of this. But if any of you are interested, usually there's like a Toastmasters on a Monday and a Wednesday and a Thursday and a single day, and then you just check online and I'll show you where it is and you can go visit. I would recommend that as well as a way to develop some personal skills that you may not have thought of, but they really will help. So that would fit in with the audience, as Catherine, as we were talking. It's important to consider who the audience is, and then how you're going to get to them. In this class, I try and, because people are technology, I try and use as much technology as model. You won't find anything that Dr. Abed and I do we haven't done. So we're not going to teach you out of a book or anything like that. He's a pro photographer. He knows design and stuff. He knows what he's doing. You take courses from him, you get it as good as anywhere. Here, the courses I teach, I mean, I've taught every grade from kindergarten through graduate school. So I have a feeling for what happens in the classroom and training teachers. I teach people how to teach online. I've taught online. I do that. That's my part-time job. So everything you get in this program is like right from the horse's mouth. And that's important. So that's what you do with these lessons. You will just kind of, actually tonight I'm going to have you guys kind of get into a couple of groups and just share what you've done. Okay? Does that answer your question so far? Okay. Okay. So going back here to, we had a nice little dialogue here.
Thank you so much, because that was driving me absolutely bonkers nuts.
Good. Well, bonkers are us, as we would say.
And if anyone needs clips, I found a free website for clips, like sound
Audio
bites.
clips, sound clips.
Yep. So I'll post that to Myola or something.
So for tonight, what I had for the agenda is I'd like to look at some of your websites and some of the notebooks that you put together. You know, some people found some interesting stuff. I asked you to do that. And then I'd like to get into how many people do we have here tonight? 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 9, 10? We get into 2 groups of 5 where people can share just what they did, you know, for their 5. Then we're going to look at instructional strategies for the interactive whiteboard and just a few more smartboard features. And then we're going to be creating rubrics. How many of you have created rubrics before? Okay, you got 3 or 4 folks. So these are the pros. We'll rely on them. And rubrics are actually, they came out of the writing project, just to let you know that in the early 80s, when they started using rubrics, the Bay Area, the California Writing Project, started introducing those. And they became popular in the public schools, but not in universities. I was like the first guy. People laughed at me when I tried to have them do this at the university. They said, that's so stupid. But I had the last laugh. And then we'll have homework. So do I have any volunteers to look at their site and look at the notebooks that you posted there, I hope?
Sure, you can do mine.
Catherine? Okay. Now, nothing embarrassing.
No.
All right. You know, the people say that, but we shall see. Tell us about it. Any particular one?
If you go into the assignments, actually, wait, hold on, go back up for a second. I think it's under things I'm working on. No,
It's a nice title.
wait, where is that not uploaded differently? For
Not
some
there.
reason, yours is coming up different than mine.
That's hard to do.
Oh, it's that one. Oh, wait, go back up for a second. I just have to say that the little bird there is a baby Baltimore Oriole that fell out of a tree. Took a picture of him
You're
and
kidding.
uploaded it. I was just so unbelievable. It was just adorable. So anyway, go back to assignments and then you can go to my. I'm like the queen of non sequiturs. Sorry.
Okay.
You go all the way to the bottom. And
Okay,
then
which one?
if you go to the place where it says below is a couple of tools I'm going to use for my topic.
Okay, these?
Nope. Oh, wait, actually, that's the notebook. That's one of the notebooks I found on Smart Exchange.
So which is the one that you put together for this week?
The what?
The one where your arrow is,
Yeah.
right.
Yep.
Here?
Those were a couple of the different ones I'm going to be looking
Okay.
at, and then there's 1 or 2 that I'm starting to do on my own of making a.
Okay. Well, let's just, which one should I look at? Top
That
or
one that
bottom?
you're on, the top one, yeah.
You got it. Now, how do you guys like using the notebook? You find it useful? I hope you have a chance to look at all the resources, because it is just so loaded with resources. Okay, so tell us about this. Wow, you got a lot of nice ones here. Holy cow.
Yeah, I got a couple of them. I took this little website that was using the whole website, or the whole notebook was on all of the senses. But what I'm going to do is change it up and just use it for 1 of the 5 and see what one I like better. If I'm going to use it for taste or smell or hear or see, probably see.
Okay, so I'd use the pen, right? Is that
Yep.
right?
Use the pen to then have them circle, like, you know, what are they looking at? You know, the little girl is looking at the boy, or what, tell me about it, and kind of had the kids maybe create a story just
Okay.
from the fact that it's sight.
Alright, so it's a little slow here. So he shops at J.C. Penney, and she's the best speller in the class. He has a lot of pets. And, the senses. Well, let's see, the sense of taste,
Yeah,
olfactory, and stuff like that.
yeah.
Okay, and let's go to this one. Any others that are on here that are? Which of these?
There's another one, if you go down number 6. This is one of the ones I'm creating on my own.
Oh, you created this.
Yeah, actually go up one more.
Ah,
Oh, it's 5, I'm sorry. And so what I'm gonna do
is
is
this fun?
have them describe how it feels when you touch it. So like the kitten would be soft and furry, and get them kind of talking about that. The ice cream cone would be cold, and
So you would have them, because it's interactive, you'd have them actually go up
yeah,
to the board and do something with that. So maybe touch on or write the name or do something.
yeah. And mine is geared towards pre-K or K because I have twins that are pre-K, and so it just kind of made sense. Thank you. To do something that I could actually show them and see if they actually enjoyed it or anything else along those lines.
Good. And it's important, though, that with the smart board, I want you to make it interactive. Just don't show people stuff, but make sure that there's something that's done.
Yeah.
This interactivity, designing for interactivity, is not just putting something on the interactive board, but it actually has students doing something.
Yeah.
So with that in mind, that's very nice. I appreciate that. With that in mind, I actually put some resources on the class site that deal with strategies for teaching with interactive whiteboards. And actually, there's a lot of resources I want you to read, look at them, and you'll learn a lot. And we'll go over those in class too. Kathy, do you have something else?
There was one more. You talked about interactivity. If you go down to number 6, what I'm going to do, this is with sight again. I'll have the kids come up to the board and have them mark off what color their eyes are. So going across, everyone marks off how many green, if they have green eyes. So have them actually physically come up to the board.
What grade level?
Again, pre-K through K.
Okay, then I don't think you want to use this font.
Okay.
That font is, you really want to use a non-fancy font because students are going to have enough trouble looking at it. So you want to actually just find, definitely not handwriting,
Okay.
Arial or Times or something like that. And the same thing with these. Now, people who are teaching now can correct me, but I think the categories here should not be capitalized. Those of you who are teaching elementary school, what would you say?
I would, like green, blue, I would just have them all lowercase.
And why is
Okay.
that?
Well,
Explain
there's
why.
really no reason for green to have an uppercase G. It's not the beginning of the sentence, it's not a proper noun. And at that age, it's really a big focus.
Yeah, what you want
Can
to
I color coordinate them so that the green is a green font?
what I would do more is like put maybe a green box.
Okay.
Have a light green background, a light blue background, a light brown background. Because if you put text in different colors, it really is confusing. Because it's not that way in real life. If you have different colored backgrounds, is okay. One reason I say to keep it small is because that's the way students see it the most. So in any way, shape, or form that you know that people are going to see something commonly, that's the way you put it. Even if your first instinct is to use all caps or whatever it is, you have to consider the audience. And definitely first grade, they're not going to know the difference. They would be more confused than anything else. So that
You can use
is.
visual supports too, like eye color to put an eye wall, glasses to put a.
Notice the title, how different that looks.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to pay attention to everything. Everything. That's what separates you from the people who do it intuitively. The fact that you're being trained to develop things in a way that enhances communication, That's all it is. We're communicating ideas and information and instruction. So we're communicators, and we have to do the best job at communicating. So I think like a nice green background, let's see how that looks. So if I go here and I go to properties, and I would use a light green, definitely green. No, not the text. Forget that. That's, let me go back to black. But for the fill effects, and solid fill, and I give it, okay, maybe even a lighter green like this, okay? And then same with blue and brown. I might make this like the regular font, and I think that would work. But then you have the problem of other and glasses, so they wouldn't be. But then that would be okay too, because if you just have the colors.
You have two graphs, just one for eye colors and a separate
Yeah.
down below for glasses
Oh,
and
there you
no
go.
glasses.
Yeah, and good idea. You separate it like have a line here separating it, so you have like a big bar separating them, so that it just emphasizes. And actually, for eye color, I would just actually put an eye there instead of writing eye color. I'd actually put an eye, and maybe an uncolored eye, so that if you're doing the Kathy way, you'd click on the green and the eye would turn to green, or if you do, or the blue and then it would turn to blue. I mean, you could just do that by making separate.
Or actually, because the kids are going to be non-readers, because pre-K and K, you really don't,
Yeah,
I mean,
they're not
correct me
gonna-
guys if I'm wrong, you're not going to have them reading so much, but maybe an eyeball with that color would be better than,
Hey Ben, sure.
Oh, okay.
What do you think?
They're not reading.
Work good, because you'll have some
Good.
readers in here.
How about somebody else sharing what they had?
thanks guys.
Somebody else. 'Cause that's good.
You can go to mine, but I don't, looking now at what you went over, I don't think I did the assignment exactly correct.
What'd you do?
I thought that they were separate assignments. I found a bunch of games that didn't necessarily have to do with my final project.
Okay, doesn't matter.
The meeting content, I think I put it in the wrong spot.
Where'd you put it?
Okay,
Content. Okay, sure. It's okay, you don't have to go crazy and think that you have to please me, because you don't. What you have to do is just justify what you do in an educative way. You're not here to please me and Dr. Abed. You're actually here to learn, become independent designers. This is the one? Identifying
No,
good.
the top four.
Top four.
Yeah,
Well,
the
pick
bottom
one.
The last one I couldn't fit in. The file was too big.
How about Fig Football? What's a Fig Football?
It was a opening. It was like a template for a game that you could enter questions and answers.
Oh, okay, let's see. Now, as these are going, as you're seeing these, it's being recorded. You can go back and look at these. You might want to download that. You know where it is on Julio's site and Catherine's site. And you look at other folks and see what they have. See what those strategies are. How many pages? Like 27?
I'll say 50.
Oh my
50?
gosh.
50?
Because it's a big template, yeah.
That's big there, man. Jeez. I mean, I'd go to Mars and back by the time this thing opens.
Are we taking a break now?
Not yet. Well, let's just move that over to the side. And that'll
It's going
still.
quick.
There must be small pages or something now. As we're waiting for this, as we're waiting, it's up to 52. Okay, looks like it's there. Okay, so tell me how this works.
So when you go to the next slide,
Yeah, I'm not sure what to call these. Usually they call these boards, the smartboard people. I like to call them screens instead of slides because it's not really a slideshow. But I don't know. I really don't have a definitive answer. So whatever's comfortable for you, just call it whatever's comfortable for you.
when
Okay.
you click on one of the footballs, it brings you to a question.
Okay. So this is like Jeopardy or something?
Kind of, right. These are all grammar-based questions.
Okay.
I think they're all grammar-based questions.
What is the comparison between two or more things that doesn't use words like as or like?
The answer would be metaphor. You click on the answer.
Metaphor? Metaphor. Okay.
And then at the bottom of that page, it says move 15 yards. You would go. I thought there was a button that took you back to the home, but I don't see one there.
You know what the problem is? That the link is on the letters. So if you click on the outside, see?
Right. There it is. So then you would take team one's X.
Do you do that yourself or does it do it automatically?
You have to do it yourself.
Okay.
You would take the X and move it to the 15-yard line.
All right. Well, isn't that cool? Well, what happens if people don't like football?
Right.
You're gonna learn about it.
So this is for the all boys school, right? The Catholic school. Yeah, see, that's nice. Now, what do you say about? I know they're trying to use the Chicago Bear colors, but how does that look?
Not very good.
Not very
I mean,
good.
I would not.
No.
Plus, it's all capitals.
Yeah.
I wouldn't do that.
I would. Yeah. There's a lot to change. Once or twice a year, I do a Jeopardy-style game. I thought that
Yeah.
would be a nice
Yeah.
alternative to it.
I got no problem. Plus, you can always change these because
Right.
people put them up there and you can change them.
Right.
It's just the colors of the bears. I mean, it just.
Interjection.
This? What is it?
Is it?
It's
Onomatopoeia.
Onomatopoeia, yeah. Onomatopoeia. Yeah. Good. Nice. Okay. So that's the kind of thing I'd like you to keep doing is to looking for resources and sharing them. And then in the form, the weekly form for questions and comments, if you find something, Kathy, you can put that link up there for the audio.
Okay.
And this week I'll put like the question and comment section. And if you find stuff that you want to share with people, that's a great place to do it.
Did you click on the last one on my page and just tell me what you think of it
The last
on my website?
on your website. Is that yours? Okay. And this one here?
The one that says this is the link.
Now this is the one that you've had before. I've seen
Yeah,
this.
up a little bit.
This
So
one?
this is the link to my last notebook file.
This?
Yeah.
That's too easy.
Open it.
Download?
Yeah, it's whatever. There's a lot of sound in this one. It wasn't a game. It was an interactive lesson, I guess.
And this is yours or someone else's that
I
you?
found it on the
50 pages?
No. This was just one page.
Oh, okay. One page works. It's called Games in the Classroom. Now, who made this? Did they say?
I think it was on the. I think it was in the gallery.
I saw that. I didn't open it and watch it, but I saw that.
Okay.
It's got sound.
This could be British. This is the kind of thing we have to look for to see. Okay. Yeah, this is a Brit thing.
I don't know what's the right one.
I've seen a lot of that actually.
They're Brits.
Yeah, lots and lots and lots of
Yeah, and you'll notice if you see the British spelling. But in general, they are way ahead of us in developing these games and putting them online. So what should I do?
No, I must have been the wrong one because that's not the one I was thinking of. I'll just ask about it later.
Okay. Well, that's good to get to. No need to be sorry. These are the kinds of things you can find all over the place. Whatever your particular lesson is, you can look online. You'll find something like this. This is Flash based, and the way you can tell it's Flash based is if you Control-click on it. And, well, it's not going to let me do it, but you can tell it's Flash based because these are all Flash based.
You can edit the stuff that's on.
Sorry?
Someone said you have.
Yeah, you should be able to put your own stuff in here.
Figured that out.
Sorry?
I figured that out the hard way. Figured it out the hard way over the weekend.
Did you find the same one, or did you find?
No, I found a different one. I found multiple, but the one I wanted was actually Julio showed it in class before.
Uh huh.
The whole vortex. It's okay because I thought it was cute.
Yeah.
And the swirling and the dragon, everything popped into it. But I was trying to figure out how do you change the picture. And I figured it out the hard way.
And what's the hard way?
Trial and error, knocking your head on the table and being like, okay, this can't be that simple, and it was simple. Just driving, brought the picture in.
Oh, that's not the hard way. I mean, you just took the long way, maybe. Okay, good. So, did anybody have any questions about any of those games, or find anything that you really are dying to share because it's like the Vortex or something better?
I actually saw one thing in there. I put it on my page, but not even for an actual lesson. But they have so many different timers in the smartboard that like when you're doing time tests and stuff. If you're lucky enough to have a smartboard in your room, to have that big timer on board for the kids to see.
That is really.
They have tons of them. They have little like this fuse going to the firecracker. They have the clocks. There's so many ways to use it. I wish I had.
Now, why would timing be important for kids?
Well, like for math facts mastery, when you're doing those time tests, writing prompts. When we administer writing prompts, it's a 45-minute prompt time. It just helps them know, how much time they have to plan and how much time they have left to wrap it up, because that mimics the CMT and the standardized test when they have a time block. And that would really be the only time I would use them.
Okay.
Or even just when there's silent reading time, you've got your 15 minutes. So
Now, don't forget too.